This is the Holy Gospel according to Matthew chapter 26.
Glory to you, O Lord.
While Jesus was in Bethany in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head, and he was reclining at the table. When the disciples saw this, they were indignant. Why this waste? They asked. This perfume could have been sold at the high price and the money given to the poor. Aware of this, Jesus said to them, "Why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. When she poured this perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. Truly I tell you, wherever this gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Brothers and sisters, these are the good news of Jesus Christ.
Praise to you, O Christ.
May the grace of God be with you always. You may be seated. As most of you already know, the women of the Lutheran Church have been gathering for this celebration of thank offering since the early 1900s. It is a beautiful tradition in which today we gather as faithful women to give thanks to so many blessings that God has given us. And we come together as a congregation to renew our Christian dedication to helping those in need, feeding the hungry, welcoming the homeless, clothing the naked, comforting the weary and marginalized, welcoming the stranger, and being a loving neighbor to all people. We follow Jesus' example. As we hear in today's Gospel passage, Jesus' interaction with people who are considered marginalized as women were at that time. Little is known about the woman who came into the house and poured the perfume on Jesus' head, but she arrives very brave, defying the power of oppressive forces and disturbing social injustice. She arrives, and without caring about anything or anyone, she anoints Jesus with her precious perfume. This is a living testimony to the experience of courageous women throughout history who often neglect their own needs, and they choose instead sacrificial acts of generosity toward others. Out of devotion to Jesus, the woman honors him by pouring this alabaster jar filled with an expensive perfume on his head, not knowing that she was preparing him for burial. The disciples were furious at the woman's waste, and they asked themselves, how can this woman be so wasteful and extravagant? The disciples were outrageous. Of course, they also have a great love for Christ, but they got angry, seeing that she's giving something so valuable, maybe the most valuable thing that she possessed. She's giving it all. I think we know what that is, don't we? It's like when we follow Jesus more than many people in the world, that we give ourselves to him, even when people look at us like we're a little crazy or out of place. But the truth is that when you do give everything, when you hold when you hold on to what you have, there is no room for you to receive more blessings. This tradition is given in gratitude This tradition of giving in gratitude is like a circle, kind of like something that comes back to you. The women started putting coins in the little bags as thank you for every blessing they received. And the money was used for God's work, and at the same time, God filled them with blessings. And that continues from that time of Jesus to the present day. Whether it's a woman pouring perfume or a woman giving her coins like housewives did in the early 1900s, or a woman making quilts to send around the world, or the women of today's ELCA who with their mission can, for example, send someone like me to seminary. Imagine that. Think, whenever we give of what we have, we receive even more blessings. For a long time, I believed that I could not make the first step in my calling, because the truth was that I did not have the monetary means to pay for classes, books, and everything that was needed to be able to graduate and be ordained as a pastor. But when I hear that there were organizations and ministries like WOCA that offers the resources needed to help to follow God's call and work, I was encouraged. And that is why I am here today, because of God's goodness and because of the generosity of everyone who helps with their offerings for these causes. But I know that most people just don't understand the effort it takes on our part to let go more, to let go move through us. We must let go and let God act. Most of the time, even those who give and let go of the things they held on to don't even understand what God can do when He responds to their obedience. But there is a good news. When we finally learn to let go and let God act, when you give all of yourself to Jesus, He will turn your gift into a blessing for many, like the warm embrace of a quilt made with love and full of nuts with blessings to people around the world who may have lost everything for difficult circumstances of life, or as a means of preparing more women to become deacons and pastors. This morning, dear family, we are celebrating the women of ELCA and how important it is to give. But I also want to understand that it is true that donations are important and that God multiplies them, but it is also true that that offerings alone are not enough, because what Jesus wants from us is so much more than that. Jesus, sisters and brothers, wants it all: our time, our talents, our treasures. He wants our lives. He wants all of us and each of us, and He wants us to give without ever thinking about getting anything in return. He rewards us, yes, but that shouldn't be the motivation behind our offerings. So we are to offer ourselves only because He is Jesus and we love Him. After all, isn't that what He did for us? The woman in our story offered everything to Jesus out of love, perhaps the most expensive thing she owns. That's what Jesus required of us. And when that happened, when we also offer ourselves to Jesus, His sweet scent lingers in the air around us, and others are blessed because we've been in His presence. And so the world will know that He is with us for the fragrant offering of our lives. Amen.